Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me thank the gentleman from Illinois for yielding and for your tireless leadership for families everywhere. Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to H.R. 2972, the so-called Control Unlawful Fugitive Felons Act. This cruel and misguided bill terminates supplemental security income benefits for vulnerable seniors and people with disabilities who have an outstanding warrant. Let me be clear, this is a horrible bill. It's mean-spirited and it's unfair. Despite this bill's misleading title, Americans who would be harmed by this bill are not felons and they're not fugitives. In reality, this bill would rip benefits from individuals who haven't been arrested, tried, or even convicted. They have only been accused. This violates the basic principle of innocent until proven guilty and would terminate benefits without due process. What's worse, most of these outstanding warrants are decades old and involve minor infractions when people are unable to pay for court fines and fees. This is awful. This bill criminalizes families living in poverty and disproportionately harms communities of color. 1 in 5 SSI recipients are African Americans. Without this critical program, believe you me, African Americans will struggle even more. Make no mistake, cutting off SSI benefits would put all families at risk of being unable to keep a roof over their heads, put food on the table, and meet other basic needs. And for what? To pay for the maternal, infant, and early childhood visiting program. Now, we know that this is an important program and helps millions of struggling families, but we cannot afford to rob Peter to pay Paul. Lives are at risk here. This is as sinister as it gets. Taking an axe to these life-saving benefits is cruel and heartless. That is why 120 civil rights, disability, and retirement organizations oppose this, including the NAACP, the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights, the United Labor Latin American Citizens Organization, the National Council of Churches, the National Committee to Preserve and Social Security and Medicare. May I have 30 seconds?
Generally, is recognized for an additional seconds.
Mr. Speaker, this should really be a wake-up call to this chamber to defeat this bill immediately. Instead of ramming through a bill that would push more people into poverty, we should be working to create good-paying jobs and expand opportunity for all. So I urge my colleagues to vote no on this mean-spirited and heartless bill. Thank you, and I yield the balance.